Hello, Cowboys Nation. Welcome to another video. And without further ado, let's get to another round of news from America's team. Cowboys expected to cut ties with former third-round pick. For the Dallas Cowboys, the 2025 season was certainly a disappointment with a .791 record, the failure to earn a spot in the postseason, and the defense that was almost shockingly bad. But it was not all frustration and disappointment. That's because on the offensive side of the ball, there were a handful of additions and breakouts that helped qualify the team as an undoubted success. Dak Prescott, after an injury-riddled 2024, returned to top form in 2025. The addition of George Pickens made the Cowboys 1:2 receiving punch of Pickens and CeeDee Lamb the envy of the league, and Ryan Florino was as good as any wide receiver 3 in the NFL. Tight end Jake Ferguson was back to his old form, too. Free agent running back Javonte Williams was the best ball carrier the team has had since 2019, Ezekiel Elliott's prime. But the rise of some inevitably means the fall of others. And for the Cowboys, as the offense moves into the off-season and prepares for a retooling, one player in particular appears in for a fall. Former third-round pick Jalen Tolbert. Indeed, the Cowboys have established a four-man receiving crew with Lamb, Pickens, Florinoid, and speedy gadget play specialist Kavani Turpin that figures to leave little room for more names on the depth chart. A fifth will likely be on the roster, but probably not 6. That could mean not only Tolbert falls off, but perhaps Jonathan Mingo and futures contracts need Paris Campbell, too. In previewing the offensive outlook for the Cowboys in 2026, John Macho of The Athletic writes that Tolbert is out, assuming the Cowboys keep Pickens, a free agent, on board. The breakout season for Florino with 40 catches and 475 yards, including 2 100-yard games, makes Tolbert expendable. Tolbert, a third-round pick from South Alabama in 2022, has frequently been hyped as a player ready for a breakout year, but the year has never really come. And this season, he had all of 18 catches for 203 yards. Cowboys break silence on Matt Eberflus' replacement. It's been almost 2 weeks since the Dallas Cowboys parted ways with defensive coordinator Matt Eberflus, and in an effort to replace him, the team has poked and prodded through the coaching staffs of teams across the NFL. They've conducted or requested interviews via video connection with 9 candidates thus far, though a 10th, Jeff Ulrich of the Falcons, was requested and denied by the team. All the while, there has been very little said about the process other than the occasional speculative assertion for Cowboys reporters and Observer, but there has not been much concrete information on the process thus far. Stephen Jones, the son of owner Jerry Jones and the team's vice president, this week did finally address the state of the search, and he seemed to assert that more patience would be required. Last year, the team parted ways with head coach Mike McCarthy on January 13th and hired replacement Brian Schottenheimer on the 24th, but this process will move slower. Jones told DallasCowboys.com writer Tommy Yarish that the Cowboys are still only in the early stages of the DC process. "I think we're in the initial run," Jones said. "We're going to cast a wide net, whether it's half a dozen, 10, 12 coaches when it's all said and done. I don't know what that number will be, but then we'll narrow it down. We're already starting to narrow it down, and we'll start to bring guys in for in-person interviews. Some of the guys that we felt were the guys that would fit." The total 9-coach list of candidates that are in the mix for the Cowboys jobs is as follows. Broncos assistant and passing game coordinator Jim Leonard, Minnesota Vikings pass game coordinator Don Jones, Cleveland Browns safeties coach Ephraim Bond, ex-Cardinal head coach Jonathan Gannon, current Cowboys defensive line coach Aaron White-Cotton, former Baltimore Ravens defensive coordinator Zach Warr, Philadelphia Eagles DBs coach and pass game coordinator Christian Parker, Giants interim defensive coordinator Charlie Bullen, Green Bay Packers defensive line coach DeMarcus Coington. Jones told Yarish that the Cowboys feel any of the above coaches are qualified for the role, but that they're focused on getting a DC who complements Schottenheimer well and can help them rebuild their personnel pool. 3 quarterbacks who should be on the Cowboys' radar in 2026 NFL free agency. The biggest issue for the Dallas Cowboys this season was their inability to stop the aerial attack. Moving on from defensive coordinator Matt Eberflus is the first step in getting this corrected, but the Cowboys will also need to add talent, especially after finally moving on from Trayvon Diggs. Dallas currently has just one proven starter at quarterback in Darren Bland, but he's been battling injuries for the past 2 seasons. That's why they're expected to add someone with one of their early picks in the 2026 NFL Draft. It would also be wise to bring in free agents to strengthen the secondary. That said, here's a look at 3 players they could target. 1. Roger McCreary. A second-round pick in 2022, Roger McCreary played in 55 games with 38 starts for the Tennessee Titans. He recorded 253 tackles for sacks and 3 interceptions during his tenure with Tennessee and was traded to the Los Angeles Rams this October. He played sparingly with the Rams during the season while battling a hip injury. He was on the field for their postseason win in the divisional round, recording 1 tackle and a pass breakup. McCreary isn't going to be a long-term solution or a shutdown cornerback. He could, however, be an affordable option who provides some much-needed experience. 2. Alandi Taylor. Dallas learned how important the nickel position is when they let Jordan Lewis leave in free agency. Without him, they had to move Darren Bland around, which hurt them on the outside. That's why Alandi Taylor could make sense. Like McCreary, Taylor was a second-round pick in the 2022 NFL Draft. He spent the past 4 seasons with the New Orleans Saints, recording 293 tackles, 7 sacks, and 4 interceptions. He's arguably the top slot corner on the market, and could help fill a major hole in the Dallas secondary. 3. Rick Woolen. Rick Woolen is one of the more interesting pending free agents. He has elite size at 6 feet 4 inches and 210 pounds and tied for the NFL lead in interceptions as a rookie with 6 in 2022. Over the past 2 seasons, Woolen has seen his snap count decline, leading to a belief that he might not be in the long-term plans for Seattle head coach Mike Macdonald. Should that prove to be the case and Woolen hits free agency, the Cowboys should see what it might take to bring him in. Adding Woolen would give them a competent starter, while also giving them more options in the draft.